But wait, the finish of the main event we got to talk about. I forgot about this because did you see it or did you give up at that point?
I don't remember. What was the main event?
Well, the main event was Cody and Grayson Waller. And I didn't watch that, but they gave us a little bonus content afterward. Did you zone out since it was Waller?
I don't know. You're going to have to refresh me. You know what? Waller's growing on me. He has been for a while.
Well, so does cancer.
Theory's the one that's becoming tough to watch. Waller's the one who's actually becoming pretty good.
That's because they're having Waller do all the Theory ought to be doing.
Was that the fin? Was the Theory coming and get his kicked again?
Well, no, but hold on. It was the Paul Heyman interruption.
Right. That's right. I did see that.
Yes, if this was an episode of The Big Bang Theory, it would be titled The Paul Heyman Interruption. And if you didn't see it real quickly, Cody's match is over. He's celebrating. The music is playing. And all of a sudden, Heyman interrupts, bringing out 3 guys dressed in black, not suits, but just black attire of various kinds. One had a jacket and a black shirt. The other had black, whatever. They're all in black. And it's obviously 3, indie outlaw, independent wrestlers, right? But he claims that they are 3 friends of his from the NYPD that are off duty. Well, actually, they're suspended, but that's a whole different story. Brian, I've seen officers with the New York Police Department. I'm sure you see them on a semi-regular basis. Do any of them look like that?
Well, I mean, some of the recruits or young guys do, but no, we have a lot of friends on the department.
Most of them goddamn look like some fucking guy that you'd see on the beat in Queens or wherever the fuck. I don't know your geography up there, but they don't look like fucking indie wrestlers all dressed in black and groomed appropriately.
Well, no, they're certainly not all dressed in black. The grooming's an interesting issue. That's coming up. It's becoming an issue again with the police, but anyway.
The police are grooming people now?
No, the New York City Police Department thinks that the cops have been given, or at least I forget who exactly it was, whether it wouldn't have been a union. It must have been the people high up in the department. They think the cops are dressing too sloppy, and they kind of want to tighten up the restrictions on what you can and can't do in terms of facial hair and all sorts of things.
Yeah, well, these 3 were too clean, too young, and probably in too fucking good of a shape. Generally, the ones that I'd see when I go up there would be fat, slovenly, and hairy.
Yeah, but there aren't that many of those kind of cops anymore. It's kind of the other way.
Well, God, then that's what we need is more fat, hairy, slovenly cops, and this country wouldn't be going to hell. But besides that, Paul comes out with these 3 fake cops and says, Cody, I know it's embarrassing that you got Will Smithed by The Rock, but take The Rock's name out of your mouth. And Paul begs him in a menacing and, not really serious way. Pretty please, cherry on top, withdraw your challenge to The Rock. Actually, did he say that with your chat instead of Roman? There was some fumble of the verbiage there.
I forget exactly what he said. I mean, I knew what he meant.
But anyway, get out of this while you still can type of ultimatum being given by Paul Heyman. And Cody fires back up and, he's like, we were fans of The Rock. Is this a talking point that The Rock insisted on to turn heel, was that everybody had to say, now we all were fans of his before? Because Cody said that 2 or 3 times now. Somebody else has said it. The fans boo it every time that they don't want to be grouped in that anymore, but it's got to be a talking point, mandatory talking point. Does it not at this juncture?
Who knows? I mean, it could be. It could be.
I'm thinking let's get some of our undercover investigators to weigh in on that. But nevertheless, we were all fans of The Rock, but now I'm done with being nice. Come and get me. And Paul's 3 guys get up on the apron and they surround Cody, and Paul's going to get in the ring, but Cody said, don't do it. And the next person that takes a step toward me, I'll drop you. I'll drop all of you. And Paul said, of course that doesn't mean me. And he's, yes, it does. And then guess what Cody does? He dropped all the guys dressed in black, all the cops, who somehow knew how to take bumps out of the ring, over the top rope, whatever the case. And you know what? The problem is, I know they can't have The Rock there every week. They can't have Roman there every week. If they are there every week, they can't have them fight with Cody it would get old and repetitive, right? But the problem is now they've gotten too comfortable on all these wrestling programs with what is obviously should be named the random Star Trek crewman syndrome. When Kirk and Spock and Scotty and Sulu and Lieutenant Schmidlap beam down to the planet's surface, who's getting vaporized, Brian?
I don't know.
Lieutenant Schmidlap. Because we've never seen him before, and chances are we'll never see him again. And every time the security or the off-duty cops or the guy on AEW last week, they threw somebody in the front row. Oh, it was old Blue Sky got thrown into the front row, and it was obviously outlaw wrestlers who took bumps and laid their selling from this 120-pound girl. And they're guys. They're all guys. From this girl being dropped on them, 4 men were fucking wiped out. It's phony because you can tell. They all look the same, even though they're not the same people. They all look awkward and unnatural, and they don't fit the fucking visual representation of what they're being presented as. And as a result, it's the fucking random Star Trek crewman syndrome. You know they're there just to get beat up. And it's old, right? And then Paul gets one phone out of his pocket and calls Roman, and gets the other phone out of his other pocket and calls The Rock. So, God, he better have stock in T-Mobile or something, because this is getting expensive. But if Cody beat up all of the fucking job guys. There you go.
Well, that was raw.
It certainly was.
You insisted on watching it, for the record.